What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another MD Fish Tanks build video with me, MD. So today's video is going to be a real simple scape, but one that has a real high visual impact. So if you're new to fish tanks, or you just want something that will look really cool, smart, presentable, and easy to maintain in your living space, then this video is for you. So stick around as we build the Java Fern / Anubias garden. I don't know why I had to say slash there, but... So I've recently set up an area out here for plant grow out. So yeah, just some standard cheap tanks really, with like cheap equipment. You know, it all works though. That's not like an Aquascape, by the way. I just sort of put it together quickly to put some plants in. But anyway, I've got this tank over here, and I've also got a lot of epiphyte plants ready to go in one. So those are all like fast growing stem plants and cryptocoryne in the foreground there. At the bottom, we've got some sort of carpeting plants, hydroculture Japan, dwarf hairgrass. So yeah, I want to keep this tank here for just the epiphytes. And to do that, I want to create like a framework of wood, and then I can just place all the epiphytes on little weights and they can sit on there. So you can see I'm not one to overly plan things. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I've got an overall plan, and sometimes you just got to get started. That's the main thing. Get started and work out the details as you go. Otherwise, you're just crippled by planning. Oh. So first thing I need to do is just get a little base layer going, and then we can decide on where to put the hardscape after that. And also decide what hardscape I can choose from in my studio here. So this is one of my studios. At the moment, we've got a few tanks just arrived. We've got all the hardscape section down here, so we've got lots to choose from, and we've got lots of tanks as well. So this is, yeah, there's a plant storage area, obviously outside the main studios of that one and this one. So you can see I've got quite a lot going on. So this soil here is ADA Africana, I think it's called, yeah. And the idea being that it's less nutrient dense than other aqua soils, so that'll be suitable for epiphyte plants, which are, you know, they're not planted in the soil, are they? They're just on bits of rock or bits of wood. Now, I didn't actually know that when I bought all of this. I just like the colour. It's a little bit different, you know. That's your typical aqua soil colour. And then we've got this one. It's good to have variety, isn't it? And if I step back, we've got 3 different types of substrate there now, and that's going to look great. Not that it really matters, because this is just my plant growouts, but the way you do something is the way you do everything, so let's make it look good. So yeah, I've banked it up a little bit at the back, probably didn't need to, but I know what I'm like, and I'll probably add some plants in later on in the build, as well as the Java ferns and Java mosses and Anubias and all that kind of stuff. So now we can start getting some hardscape together. Now, I think cereal stone works really well, and dark sort of woods work really well with this colour soil. The cereal stone is going to be a really good contrast as well to that red. But as in typical MD style, let's just chuck some stuff in and start moving it around. Okay, strong start there, I think. So we've got 5 stones, although it kind of looks like 4, but there's 5. Look, I knew I wanted a sort of central island, but I didn't know what I was going to do, and that looks quite cool. Like, it looks like it's jumping out at us. It's interesting to look at. I mean, compare that with just some boring round ones next to it. I just chucked those in there, remember, so they're not like doing anything. But oh, there's that thermometer. Sorry. So yeah, we've got a really good start. Now on top of that, we can start putting a few bits of wood, nothing too crazy. Remember, this is a plant storage tank, so I want there to be quite a lot of room for plants to go in. But similar sort of thing again, a few things coming up. It's an island, you know what I mean? You know what an island is. Oh, yes, right. 5 rocks, 3 bits of wood. Sometimes you just gotta scape it how the wood wants to be scaped. So like natural little curves in, say, that piece of wood fit over that rock, and it lodged on. You could see how it did that. Now obviously we've got this weird section in the middle here, but that's okay because that's where we're gonna be putting plants anyway. You're not even gonna see that. There is an argument for putting one more piece of rock in here. Again, I think I'll try that maybe, but I think I'm probably gonna have plants all in this area anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. There we go, look, it's a subtle difference, but a good one, I think. Again, don't worry about that middle little section. There'll be plants in there that cover up that weirdness. But it looks kind of much better having the point. I don't know why 5 always tends to look better than 4, 3 tends to look better than 2, and so on and so on. Don't know why it is that, but that's just what our eyes tend to like to see. Odd numbers. Right, we've got a ton of plants here. We've got narrow leaf Java ferns. We've got 5 of those. I've actually got more as well. We've got really nice Anubias. I've got some Anubias coin. I've got some Businesses. We've got standard Anubias. We've got Anubias petite. And most plants that you get, not that one. There you go. Most plants that you get have got like this ceramic disc at the bottom, which is actually really useful. We can use that to glue these two if you don't have any spare rocks. If you do have spare rocks, then use rocks. But, you know, it's good to recycle, isn't it? So I can just glue them to these, and we can place them out of sight. If there are any that are in the foreground, you'd want to put them on rocks, obviously, because that's a bit ugly. But yeah, simple as that. And to do that, we use our classic Gorilla super glue gel, cyanoacrylate gel. It dries all in fish safe as well. Click subscribe. Right, there we go. Well, it took a while, but it's worth the wait. Now, the beauty of all of this is, just like hardscape, you can put it all in and move it around multiple times until you get it right. It's not like normal planting where you kind of have to put it all in, step back, and to pull it all out and replant would be a bit of a mission, isn't it? And we don't often do that, but with these, we can just move them around everywhere. Probably going to start with the Java ferns at the back and work my way forward. So I just noticed that when, I put this plant back here, it falls down the gap and you kind of lose most of it. I like it to be probably there to follow the line. So I'm probably just going to put something behind there to raise it. Just any rock will do because you're not going to see it. And then we can put that on top of it. Okay, there we go. That's most of the ferns in. I've got about 6 in there, I think. There's one tucked behind there, and there's also a little baby one on the top of that log as well. The rest of them, the other 3, I've just put in there. So I don't want to really overcrowd it. One of the problems with Java ferns, if you pack them all too close together, you get so much mold in between the roots. It's actually not that healthy for the plant. So it's better to sort of space them out. They're more spaced out than they look, to be fair. It's just that they're sort of flaring at the top. The more spaced out they are, the better chance you'll have of getting good new growth and success. So remember, these are all going to grow bigger, and as they do, we can take them out and replace them with smaller ones. But I think that's a really good start. It's very basic and looks lovely. I'm really loving this Africana as well. Really nice. I say really a lot, don't I? Right, so we can put the Anubias now and that one piece of Businesses. I need to get more boost, actually. I don't have enough of that in the foreground. So the way these scapes tend to work best, because essentially it's an island composition, a central focal point, is when you keep the planting close to the hardscape. If I was to pull these further out into the aquasoil, it would look strange, and the same with the background plants of the Java fern as well. So if you keep everything tight to it and then keep the perimeter quite bare at this stage anyway, if you're not planting, that is, for instance, dwarf hairgrass would go great because it creates what is essentially just a plain flat canvas, I guess. It just looks better when you keep everything tight, so that's what we've done so far. And then obviously we need a few more out this side, but not too much because we don't want to completely hide the hardscape, do we? But at the end of the day, it is a grow out tank for these plants. Right, looking good. And I think this point here is screaming out for that piece of Bucephalandra. Okay, there we go, almost ready for filling, but there's one more plant I want to add in, one that I completely forgot I have actually. So here we are in the main studio. This is my Asian fish aquarium. Every time I forget to turn this off. Yeah, this is my Asian fish aquarium. It's fantastic, loving it, all healthy, all perfect. And the plant that I was talking about is right there. Ah, you can't, hang on, let me just manual focus. There you go, right in the center of the screen there. See that Hygrophila pinnatophyta that's running up there? I completely forget I've got it because it's, you know, it's being hidden. Let's take a sort of trimming of that, attach it to some rock again, because you can do that. It grows like a stem plant basically, but it doesn't need to be on the soil. Ah, there we go. Look, I've trimmed it and you can see why this is great. So it's sending off runners that have also sent off roots. Each one of those nodes on that point, which is upside down, I understand, so it's hard to envisage, but each one of those roots is where a new shoot will come out. So you essentially you've got like 5-6 plants in that tiny little sprig. Is it a sprig? Yeah, we'll say sprig. Awesome. So we can use that and just stick it to a piece of rock. In fact, I don't even think I'm going to stick it. I'm just going to place it in because there's plenty of places we can sort of lodge it into. Oh yeah, I'm loving that. It's really nice. It just gives a tiny little bit of different colour. So you've got that little bit of pinky hue coming through and adds a little bit of variety to the scape. It's not a scape, it's a grow out tank. It's a scape, come on, this one is. That's not so much a scape, it's just a nice place for plants with a border so it's presentable. But that one, yeah, it's cool. I like it. I'm going to say it again. I really love this red aqua soil, or browny red. I don't know. Right, now we can fill the whole thing up and get that filter started. There we go, looking sweet. But before we put any livestock in, obviously we need to get that filter running. Now, I just want to make a point about these little filters I use. If you are stocking heavy and you don't have a tank sort of full of plants, a little one like this is probably not going to cut it. I mean, I could take that filter off and the tank would be absolutely fine with the amount of plant mass that I've got going on in most of my aquariums. So that's why I get quite a few comments sometimes with people saying, oh, I don't think that tiny little hanger on the back is going to cut it for, say, 10, 11 fish or something like that. Trust me, it does, because of the plant load. So the plants do so much filtration, and I often get asked the question, do you put oxygen into your tank? Well, yes, essentially I do, because that is what the plants are doing. I never add air stones or things like that. I mean, I have got a full-on air system running on all the racks, but that's just more for efficiency because I didn't want to buy 12 mini filters. So yeah, look, if you're planning to make a heavily stocked fish tank with a few plants, you're probably going to need a canister filter or a big hang on the back filter. Not one of these tiny little ones, but they work really well for the combination of high plant mass, low bio load. Anyway, enough babbling, let's turn it on and get some livestock in. So it's now been a day since I set the tank up. It's now time to add some livestock. Now I'm not thinking fish really, I'm thinking more cleanup crew, because obviously we want to keep the bio load low because it's a grow out tank. And it just so happens in here, in this bowl, I've had a load of shrimp for about a month now. I didn't take them out because I noticed that they were breeding. I'm probably not going to be able to pick it up, but there's absolutely tons of baby jelly blues in there and sakura shrimp. There's like babies everywhere. So it was just literally, I set up all these environments and had a little bit of like trouble. They're breeding now, by the way, but it's been like months before they started breeding. I put these shrimp in this bowl and changed the water with dechlorinated tap water only every, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. A little bit of fat floating plants in there, and they've just started breeding like crazy. So I don't know. Anyway, I think it'd be good to put them into that grow out tank that you can see there, and it's just going to really help with keeping things clean, but also it's going to be a really good environment for them to breed even more. It looks really good, doesn't it? Loving this. So I'm just letting the shrimp acclimate for 15-20 minutes or so, because this space, what we're in now, is not heated. So both my studios, in that one there and in this one here, are heated to like 22-23 degrees centigrade. I don't know what that is on Fahrenheit, I'll put it on the screen. And this room isn't, but it still keeps a good temperature. I mean, it's actually freezing outside at the moment. I think it's like 16 in here, something like that, which is, you know, more than acceptable for Neocaridina shrimp. I've had them way cooler than that before and still had them breeding, so we're all good in that sense. Just give them half an hour or so and we can put them in. Right, it's now been half an hour. We can release the shrimp into their new tank. I've also got some Neurite snails that I want to put in as well. Awesome, they're in. Look at this one down here. Yeah, you can see the difference there between the two shrimp, the Sakura, the black Sakura? Am I saying that right? I don't really know. And then these are the blue jellies. So they're basically like see-through blue, which is really, really cool. You can see a better version of one floating on this as it turns. Oh. There we go, look. So that's really cool. Oh, that one's buried as well. So we've got more shrimp coming. So you can see just on the underside of it, the yellow sort of parts of it, that is the eggs that are attached to the underside of the female shrimp. So soon we'll get more shrimp. Now, to be honest, I was going to leave that floating in there like that, but it looks a mess, doesn't it? So I think I'm just going to trim it up into smaller sections, and I can put it in one of those ceramic discs we got and just sort of tuck it somewhere and let it grow. They've had it in their bowl for over a month, so it seems a shame not to just sort of keep it in with them.